Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Cheryl Tan.
And I'm Zach Miller. Welcome to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. All this month, we are focusing on the various aspects of starting a business.
One of the most important aspects for both new and existing entrepreneurs is securing funding. I spoke with Joe Witt from Old Point National Bank. We talked about why having good personal credit is essential when looking for funding for your business. Joe, last time we talked, you mentioned that startup businesses need to have a relationship with a banker, but likely won't get a loan. Not right in the very beginning, at least.
Right.
But at what point would they be? What do they need to have in place as an entrepreneur, as a business, to be qualified for funding from the bank?
Well, there's several things they need, and I'm going to focus on both the business and the personal aspect. These small businesses are owned by people. A person comes in, and so when they're asking for a business loan, they're really asking for a personal loan to finance their business. They are going to personally guarantee those business loans, and that's an expectation of all banks. So to have a good personal credit history is extremely important, and to have a good credit score. But it's not just about the credit score. What does your personal financial statement look like? Have you run up a lot of personal debt? And if you have, you're not going to be a strong personal guarantor for your business, and that's going to make it tougher to get that loan. So once you know you're keeping your personal situation in good tact, the next thing is, what about the business? Well, the business needs to show success. It doesn't have to be wildly successful, but it can't be running 3 years of losses. It has to show a positive cash flow. So you may have a lot of depreciation on your financial statements. I'm a CPA too, so sometimes I talk CPA language. You may have a lot of depreciation on your financial statements. Well, depreciation is a non-cash expense. It's where you invested in something and now you're writing it off. What we look at bankers is, what's your cash flows? What's your cash expenses? What's your cash income? And we then look at your cash flows and see how it covers the potential debt you're going to take on. We like to see it covering debt about 1.25 times. That's the rule of thumb. That doesn't mean if it's less than that, you won't get the loan, but that is the rule of thumb in banking, 1.25 times coverage of your cash flows. So good personal financial statements, good cash flows coverage, profitability, and then the last thing is a sustainable market. What are you doing with your business? What are you selling? What's your product? And is this a one-time deal, or is it a sustainable market? Are you selling Beanie Babies that are going to be a fad? Or are you selling something that's really useful, that's going to be needed long-term? Those are the factors that we look at, and if you have a good business model, a good plan, good strong financial statements, and clean personal financial history, you're going to get that loan.
Typically, when businesses come to you, do they have those things in place? Are you surprised by the people who don't?
I would say more do not than have them in place.
Okay.
And this is where working with the Small Business Development Center at the Hampton, at the Chamber of Commerce, or working with some other professionals that will guide you through this, or even just working with your banker. Your banker will help you guide through it. So if you establish that relationship early on with the banker, with the expectation that 2 or 3 years out, I'm going to be coming to the bank for the loan, the banker will help you get everything straight. Our relationship managers who manage these relationships with their customers, and our private bankers will sit down and say, look, when you're ready to come to the bank, your personal financial statements need to look like this. Let's put you on a plan of action to get you there. So working with your banker early on and getting to know the banker will make the whole process easier when you begin to need that expanded capital for those bank loans.
Any last words of advice for those who are watching this and they're struggling? They know they're not quite at that level where an Old Point would loan them money, and they're not really sure the way to go, how to perhaps get sales or clients or customers. What are your last words of advice?
If they're struggling to grow their business from a marketing standpoint, then they need to partner with the right people or decide whether they really have the right business plan or not. That's where I would point them back to the Small Business Development Center at the Chamber of Commerce. But with regards to the bank, the number one piece of advice I can give them is come to the bank with integrity and be honest. Be honest in all your discussions, because honesty really matters. And when time gets tough, if the bank is honest with the customer and the customer is honest with the bank, that relationship will endure during the tough times.
Joe, thank you.
Next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, we'll tell you why the key to good customer service starts at the top. And are you getting the most out of Twitter? We have tips you can use coming up.
Welcome back. Let's jump into a segment we call Customer Service 101. I sat down with Dr. Kathleen Patterson, a professor at Regent University School of Business and Leadership. Learn why good customer service needs to start at the top. So the key to customer service is for a leader to lead by doing.
To lead by doing. If you expect something from your employees, then you need to be doing it too.
A lot of leaders and company owners and entrepreneurs think about it just at the bottom line, just the money. And we were talking about this earlier, that money isn't everything.
Money isn't everything. And you know what? Most employees, if you pay them well, that's fantastic, but they desire so much more. They're in it for the culture. They're in it for, if you think about it, your employees are spending, 30, 40, 60 hours a week in a workplace. If I'm going to devote that much of my life to the workplace, let's make it fun. Let's make it enjoyable. Let's make it sustainable. If I have to spend 30 to 60 whatever hours a week in drudgery, no one wants to do that. You can't pay me enough.
You're getting them physically there, but you're not getting them to actually do all that work. And I've looked at numbers where in companies where they aren't enjoying their time there, they're only getting 2.5 hours worth of work out of them anyway. So why not embrace a culture that's really important for companies to survive? How does a company do that though? How do they embrace what their employees are looking for?
Well, you have to know your employees. If I, as a business owner, as a leader, am engaged and involved with my employees, with my followers, I know what they want. I know what they like. And another thing is to be open to hearing criticism. If you come to me, if you work for me and you come to me and say, this policy is horrible, this is going on, this is happening, I need to be able to take that nugget of truth, act upon it on your behalf and in your best interest.
So a manager, a director, an employee, or the entrepreneur can actually start following along what their teams are doing, maybe take some notes, and then try and create a culture of what that they're looking for. What type of examples have you seen of companies taken maybe a culture that wasn't so exciting and made it exciting so that the teams wanted to come every day?
There is a local businessman in the Portsmouth, Virginia area. He's fabulous. He walked in on his very first day into his new business that he had acquired, and things were horrible. They were financially dismal. The employees hated everything. No one wanted to be there. He wasn't even sure he wanted to be there. But he took the time to listen to the people, hear what they wanted, and he took a stand on his very first day and said, today is a new day. We are totally beginning again. We are walking into something new. And he literally burnt with a match the old financial records and said, let's go forward. He has Harvard MBAs working for him. He has former Olympic athletes working for him. And it's all because he took the time to listen to what they wanted and made a culture that really sustained what their business was.
So listen and follow what your teams are looking for, what your staffs are looking for, and really invest not only just today, but in the future, and sell that as a huge selling point.
Absolutely. You have to do that. If you're not listening to your employees, really listening to them, then you have no idea what's going on in your company.
Still to come on Hampton Roads Business Weekly. We'll show you where in Hampton Roads new entrepreneurs can turn for help and advice. But first, our Entrepreneur of the Week explains how he got into business by buying someone else's. Hampton Roads Business Weekly continues next.
Now it's time for our Entrepreneur of the Week.
I spoke with the folks from Southeastern Physical Therapy about the unique way they started their business.
All right, Jeff, you moved here 15 years ago to purchase a company from some individuals. What gave you the idea to do that?
Well, I'd started a practice in New Jersey with some partners, and we had sold that practice, and I'd worked for this company, and I desired to get back into private physical therapy practice again. So I moved to Virginia because of the climate, the market, great place to raise a family, and found a physical therapy practice here that was for sale, and wanted to start that as a starter launch for what I envision today.
And when you bought the company, what kind of due diligence did you do to figure out that that was the right company to buy instead of maybe starting your own practice?
Sure, buying a practice has its pluses and minuses. You have to put money out for the purchase, but it also comes with cash flow and with a referral source or base that you currently don't have.
And so the growth has been crazy, if you will, over the last few years. And you guys are in a couple of different locations too across the state. Is that...
We have 5 locations in Charlottesville as well. It's known as Spectrum Physical Therapy.
And so 15 total, ton of jobs that you guys are creating for the community. Being a business owner, what is the best part of being it?
The best part of being a business owner?
Yep.
I think it's being around great people that have the same goal and desire as you do. First of all, to give great clinical care and have a great reputation. That's primary, and that's what drives us every day. We don't answer to a corporate bottom line, have to earn so much money. I mean, we want to be profitable because we want to reinvest into our locations, into our people. But really, it's about providing the care that will allow you to hold your head up high and really brag to the physicians and have a lot of patient testimonials on the type of care they received at our facility. I would say more than half of our patients that walk in our door for new referrals have been repeat customers, and we track very closely outcomes, how well they got better, their satisfaction in the whole experience. And that means a lot to us because it shows where we could do better and where we are doing well, and we're continuously trying to correct or improve in the areas where patients give us suggestions on what could have been better. And so having people come back after they've had an episode of care with you is probably a great compliment that we could ever get.
Favorite marketing tool that you use?
I would probably say Facebook. I love to engage our patients with each other, with our clinicians, our office. I like to do contests on there. So that's always fun. They definitely interact with us, give us great compliments.
How do you use contests to grow the business?
Well, it's not really a contest, it's more of a referral program. It's a reward. So, one of the greatest things is our patients love us. They come back to us. And the biggest compliment they can give us is to refer their friends and family. So with that, we have a rewards program in place where that if they can do it as many times, whoever they refer, they get gift cards, Starbucks, tropical smoothie, Panera, whatever they want. And we're getting plenty of patients being referred by other patients.
If someone was watching and thinking about buying a business, what would be the number one thing that you would tell them to do before they bought that business?
Well, getting a good due diligence is key, and a good team to help you look at the information. A lot of part of my growth strategy has been also to buy other physical therapy practices like I did in 2000. And you can get emotional about it. You can say, I really want that. I want to be there, but it might not be the best business decision. So having a management team that can look at other pieces of data that you as an owner may not see and be able to advise you on the pitfalls or the positive outcomes of what it would be to buy another practice or to do a startup at this location, I think is key, and has helped me, I think, to avoid some bad business decisions, because I sometimes only see what I want to see. And so I would advise other business owners to develop a good team, which might include an accountant, a CFO type of person that can analyze numbers and help advise you on which direction they think you should go.
Great.
Okay, you're starting your own business. It can be pretty daunting, but don't worry, there is help available to you. One such resource is the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce. Continuing our conversation about starting small businesses and avenues for them to go for help. And one of them, some people say, would be the Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Other people might think, though, that they're not at a level yet to take advantage or even be allowed membership to that. What do you say to that, Brian?
Oh, I say that's absolutely not true. We value all of our members, from the one person entrepreneur that's just starting a business all the way up to the Fortune 500 companies that we have here in Hampton Roads. We provide product and services for all of them. We have what we call a menu of services to address the needs, wants, and desires of all businesses of all sizes.
Do you find that people are unsure of what it is that you offer?
Yeah, I think there is a great deal of lack of understanding about what the Chamber provides. But we have something for everybody, I like to say, with that menu of options that I said. And you know, you made an interesting comment about the small business owner, because I think membership in the Chamber is really so valuable to them, because what they need is they need exposure. They need marketing. They need more clients or people visiting their shops. The Chamber can help you with that. I mean, there's all kinds of programs that we have, whether it's networking, making connections, getting access to different people. The Chamber is there for you, and membership is really not expensive at all. And if you're part of the business community, and the Chamber of Commerce represents the business community, you're more likely to be a success within the business community. And so we found that those small businesses that belong to the Chamber receive a return on their investment several times whatever their membership is.
Can you talk about some of the programs geared toward businesses of different levels? So maybe you have something for small businesses, new businesses, maybe something for the ones that are established, and then the really big ones. Because I see, if you look on your roster, you have that range.
Oh, we have every size in the Chamber. I think that the small businesses are really looking for networking, business to business, business to client type opportunities. We provide over 170 events a year, which you can just literally choose from which events that you want to go to and what you want to do. If there's something specific that you want, we've got a very professional and competent staff that'd be more than happy to sit down with you and talk about how we can specifically meet your needs, wants, and desires. A lot of small businesses don't even know what they need, want, and desire. They just know that they're struggling right now. And again, the Chamber of Commerce and our Small Business Development Center is the place to go for that help. So yeah, we have one purpose, Cheryl, and that is to ensure that businesses in Hampton Roads succeed. And we'll do just about anything that we need to do, whether it's a small business or a Fortune 500, to ensure that the conditions are set to allow that business to succeed.
Talk a little bit about networking too, because that's so critical as you try and grow a business, and how you can best utilize those opportunities for a small business when you're in the same location as potential business partners. What have you seen works best as far as reaching out?
You know, Cheryl, I ran a business before I came here to run the Chamber, and one of the things that I used to tell all of our folks, especially our salespeople, was that relationships equal revenue. That you've got to get out, you've got to network, you've got to meet people, you've got to build relationships, because that's where the revenue comes in. People want to do business with people that they know. And the only way people get to know you is if you're out there shaking hands, exchanging cards, and talking about what product and services you can provide for that individual or that company.
And that can happen, as you said, dozens of times throughout a year.
Yeah, you know, it's analogous to being a member of a gym. You know, you can go as many times as you want, and you can get out of it what you want, but you got to go. You got to get involved, and we provide the opportunity for all of our members to be a success.
Brian Stevens, thank you.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Hi, this is Naoma Doraguzzi with AskNaoma.com, Twitter's getting a lot more popular, even though it's been around for quite a while. People are more wanting to use this. But a lot of things that people ask me is, how do I get more followers? You might want to be involved in a Twitter chat. And what is a Twitter chat? It's basically a scheduled online gathering on Twitter based around a certain topic. Most people are using hashtags to follow that Twitter chat. First thing you want to do is plan. I would probably partner up with a host, maybe someone that has a lot more followers than you, that has more of an influence on Twitter, or follow, maybe partner up with a brand. First thing you do is to start promoting it, and promoting it on Twitter. If you have a blog post, post it on your blog. If you have a Facebook page, post it on there, because not everyone on Facebook might not know that you're also on Twitter. So post it at everyone, all your social media channels. Tell people you're having that Twitter chat. And again, it can be about any topic that you like. I'm involved in a couple Twitter chats every month, and it's a great way to gain new followers, but also to connect with those people that you have the same interests or the same background that you may want to kind of connect with, have questions, and engage in. So one thing you might want to do is also have, if you're hosting a Twitter chat, is have at least 5 or 6 questions planned out for that hour that you want to kind of engage with. And that way you don't want to just also post the questions. Make sure you're answering the questions, engaging with all the followers, so you can track that hashtag that you're using to promote the Twitter chat. Again, it's a great way to gain new followers, to get new insight about your brand or your product, but also to have a lot of fun on Twitter. So again, it's called a Twitter chat. If you have any other questions, you can find me on AskNaoma.com or find me on Twitter at AskNaoma.
That's all for this week's Hampton Roads Business Weekly. You can find the show on Facebook and Twitter at HR Business Weekly or at hrbusinessweekly.com.
For Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. We'll see you next week.
Hampton Roads Business Weekly, sponsored by Regent University and produced by ABC 13.